president of everything.
Basically, today's video, what I like to say is we're gonna highlight the justice for Shukri Abdi, and that's what I brought Everlast and a couple other brothers to speak about this subject. Try to bring a couple of Somali brothers involved in the struggles that we had with the demonstration, with lack of numbers and more awareness of it. Just in case something like this might happen again. You know where I'm coming from? Like and more prevention and what we can do and look into the legal legalities of the case. Like I feel like that's been neglected. And that's about it, man. I just wanted to raise ask the brothers a couple of questions, because the sisters was out there in numbers. There was, I'm not gonna lie, mashallah, you get me? And I'd like to big up to everyone that was behind that demonstration or organised it the other day. Well, they did a banging job, mashallah. But next time, I feel like I don't know, I want to talk to my brothers about this, I want to bring my Somali brothers through and highlight this. What can we do and what can happen,
Yeah. There's a lot of things that needs to be fixing, you get me? When it comes to... Yeah. There's a lot of things that needs to be fixing when it comes to like being represented in when we live in this country, right? For example, when you look at other communities.
We're talking about Somalis.
Huh? Yeah, we're talking about Somalis. We're not talking about anybody else, bro. We're just Somalis, yeah? But sometimes you gotta use examples and analogies to explain your point. Yeah. You get me? But long story short, you see, I always use this example. Like, the Jewish community, they are well intertwined and, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? They're very tight in, you get me? And if something happens to only one of them, you've got all of the community helping that person. But when it comes to us Somalis, I feel like, especially in London, we've kind of broken up, right?
There's a disconnect.
There's a major disconnect. There is a major disconnect, bro. And that major disconnect, is due to, the lack of interaction. And also, when it comes to school, you've got, the youth trying to be like someone they're not at the same time. There's this everybody's trying to fit in. They don't want to look like aliens or looked down upon. So that's why when you see little girls like Shukri getting she got killed, right? That was a murder. It wasn't an accident. They said it's something that happened by an accident. I don't think it's an accident. At the end of the day, the point was the girl, she could not swim. She had this fear of water and rivers and ocean. Yeah. So at the end of the day, why would she go to the lake and to check out? You get me? And then someone obviously threw her over. You understand? But when we said we want justice, the police had it was an accident. But you know what?
They closed the investigation.
They also closed the investigation. That's messed up. They closed the investigation, yeah? But there was also another case whereby a little white girl, got lost. Nobody could find her. And it took them almost, more than 5 years. And they spent more than millions of money to keep up her case and people to do more research. You understand? But when it comes to people, look, only Somalis, can help Somalis.
Yes, I agree.
For example, I do respect this whole thing, black community and all that stuff. is very much respectable. But at the end of the day, you can't help other blacks or other African people without helping your people first. You understand? So that's what we're lacking. We need to stop trying to mix in. And you know what? I need to send a message to also Somali YouTubers, yeah? Because I heard a brother was actually talking about it. And the thing is, look, there's a lot of Somali YouTubers who got a lot of followers, subscribers, everything, right? They talk about whatever they want to talk about. They have the audience to actually bring this into the surface and, demonstrate. You understand? And to show people, you know what, guys, every time something happens to a Somali person and it was injustice, right? For example, if it's Somali, we can sort that out, or the actual lawyer if that's possible. But you get me? But that's all I gotta say, man.
So that's your stance, isn't it?
That's my stance, yeah. Is that thing on?
So basically, like I said, this conversation is between a couple of brothers. The conversation mainly is about justice for Shukri Abdi. And how stuff and how because I'm not gonna lie to you, within a space of 2 weeks, the Somali community got impacted. It got impacted hard with the stuff that happened in Kismayo, and then I feel like the community is emotional right now. I feel like there's high emotion. I feel like, and you know what? When I went to that demonstration, what it highlighted it gave me a sense of confidence where people are out there caring about the community. But where I'm coming from is lack of numbers, you know. And I really wanted to talk to you, Abdurrahman, as well about the, you know, legal negaliations.
Legal what?
Legal legality of the case. Okay, can you cut that bit out?
No problem.
Okay, yeah, the legal legality of the case. That's why, and I feel like that needs to be more highlighted instead of looking at other people not helping out, and you know what, and you're more aware of it. Of course.
Give him the mic.
What can we do further now to keep this case going, basically? What can we do to carry on this case? Basically, justice for Shukri to carry on happening. What can we do to make sure that this case gets reopened? Is it a petition? Is it basically going to the MPs? Is it going back to the IPCC or asking for this case to get reopened? What can we do for this case to actually get reopened and get investigated?
I want to ask that as more Somali males.
Yeah,
this
no
is a
problem.
question for all my Somali males, because I felt like we were lacking in numbers in there.
Okay.
I felt like we were misrepresented, and this goes for you, Abdi.
Cool, no problem. So I can only answer that by checking one of the videos that you sent on the WhatsApp group. I think it was one of the relatives of Shukri Abdi, and he was having a hat, and he was saying how, you know, the best thing to do is to keep, you know, demonstrating and keep spreading awareness. That's the first thing. If we can spread awareness, then more people can get involved in this case, right? Maybe set up a crowdfunding page, hire a private prosecutor, these sort of things, right? If you're saying that the case has been closed off, right, from the public prosecution, maybe what we can do is first and foremost spread awareness of this case, right? And I said this to you on a private conversation earlier, right? The Shukri demonstration, right, wasn't something I was actively aware of. It was at 2 o'clock. I wasn't aware of it, right? I was only when I was involved in the WhatsApp group that it was highlighted towards me. It brought to my attention. But the thing is,
you know, disconnect within the community.
yeah, exactly. So I would say this connection, right? If we can get some kind of awareness going, right? Maybe, for example, like it starts from now, right? If we can get more, do this actively week on week, you know, get some kind of audience. That's perhaps a first step to spreading awareness, right? If we can spread awareness, exactly, we can spread awareness.
Something like this ever happens again.
Exactly. Yes.
You know what I feel like? What we tend to forget as well. What we tend to forget, like, and we always forget this in the community. Yeah, we are like we are refugee childs, you know. Majority of us, you know, them ones. Like, you know, I'm talking about the mass community. So stuff like this is kind of new to us as well, because that's highlighting, you know, the thing that you were saying earlier on with all these people. I feel like, you know what, let's get away from that, you know, because that's just highlighting, you know, it's derailing the main objective. You get me? The main objective is just in case, like, as a community, how I feel is, say something like this happened again. God forbid it can happen to any one of us, brothers. We all got sisters, we got hoyas. You get me? If you ain't got sister, hoya could that shit. If you ain't got hoya, habla that shit. You get where I'm coming from? And that goes for both sides. You get where I'm coming from, yeah? So my question is, like, as a community, like, and this goes out to my Somali professionals, like, you know, all the people our age and generations that have got their degrees, that could do something, that are not doing nothing. You get me? This goes out to all you know them ones. That's what I wanna. It's not even YouTubers. I'm talking about professional Somali brothers and sisters that are here professionally. How can we, like, say if something like this happens? So we've got like some sort of group where there's Somali lawyers over there, where Hoya could go to. You get where I'm coming from? I feel like that's another subject I want to talk about, you know. And Abdurrahman, I'm gonna let you take care of that.
Yeah, I just want to say, ilhaw naharis to Shukri. But let's just not forget that we want ultimately justice for her. Yeah. And the best way we can do that is just by putting pressure on the police commissioners, MPs, hiring lawyers.
Yeah.
I've just been told that the police are now treating the case as a suicide.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's suicide.
Suicide now, yeah? I think it was you that was telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's intentionally jumping into the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
that.
it went from, it was an accident, Yeah, so it went from, from being an accident to now blaming the victim, which is a slap in the face. So we need to get onto the police, yeah? We need to get onto the schools.
Yeah, that's one other thing, Abdul. I heard that, you see the schools, I heard the school change its name in the uniform ASAP, yo, that's Buki itself.
That's a sign of guilt. That's a sign of guilt.
That's what I'm saying. That's when I heard that, I was like...
So the fact that the fact that the school is changing the names is a sign of guilt.
Yeah. Straight.
So what I'm saying is, let's not forget the family, let's support the family, and ultimately just do the will of the family. Yeah.
Straight. Was it immediately after the Shukri's death that they changed the name of the school immediately afterwards, or was it beforehand?
No, but wallahi, brother Abdul, wallahi, I wish I could answer that question, but I can't really answer that question. But I don't know. All I heard is the school and the uniform. They're trying to get away from disconnect this whole straight away, because I'm not gonna lie. I swear to God, if the Hoy went there a couple of times to complain about bullying.
Is that what happened? Did she complain about?
That's what I've heard. Allah Ya'lam, I went there, I didn't see it, but it's the information I was given to at the demonstration. Obviously speaking to, the whole Coventry team, speaking to a lot of the brothers and sisters behind that demonstration, and I could go by their words, them ones. So they told me, what they're saying is, it's something iffy, I know, how you didn't raise no nice, them ones. So they're trying to miss me with that.
We could do one thing. How about this?
Yeah, my brother.
For example, I work 4 days off, 4 days on, yeah? So the days I'm off, how about we, let's say maybe at least one day, next week, we all come together and we go to that Hoyo, right? I'll try my best to charge my phone, sorry, not my phone, my camera, and we go to her and we interview her. We get a clear, nice interview. And then the following week, right, what we're gonna do is that if you guys are up to, because I've got my camping gear, we can go in front of the school and camp there for at least once a week to demonstrate what's going on, to give them pressure and to tell them we want justice for Shukri, right? Because the Somali people, wallahi, we don't know how to demonstrate. If we go out there, right, to the police station or to anywhere carrying boards saying that we want justice, what do we want? We want justice for who? For Shukri. That ain't gonna help no one and it ain't gonna bring nothing.
Doesn't it?
You're just wasting your energy.
Because create awareness so other people become more aware of the case, and they can provide support, whether it's financial support or something like that. Do you understand? So,
but look, let me tell you something, yeah? We've all demonstrated, right?
Yeah, just like the brother said, like the brother highlighted earlier, all right, we've done our demonstration. As a community, it's the next step. In any other, I'm just saying, not this incident. Like again I said, Ilawna Haristo, Shukri Abdi. But I think you're missing the topic. You get me? You're going off. Let's keep it justice for Shukri Abdi, my brother.
What I'm talking about. Look.
Well, you say we don't know how to demonstrate. Look, stuff like this has never happened. It's rare. It's never happened. But I'm saying if it happens again and again, my brother, what task force as a community we could take?
Bro, I know this is the topic that I'm talking about. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
But we can demonstrate all we like. We can talk, we can shout, we can carry boards, we can raise awareness. But at the end of the day, an awareness is just an awareness. You can forget that. We need to, I'll give it to you. I know. Instead of doing it, instead of just making one-time demonstration and raising awareness one time, how about we keep this up? We keep going back to that school, camp in front of that school with your boards saying that we want justice for Shukri or anyone else who has went through. But right now we're talking about Shukri. That's all I want to say, man.
What I just want to say is basically the physical protest, the protest of people turning up, it's been done already. People's been to Westminster, people done it in probably Barry as well, where it goes from. I think the next step of protest is the online thing. Is getting this thing momentum, keep going, keep pushing, get this petition, get this case to be reopened. We're physically protesting all the time. We're probably not going to get this case open, but getting these numbers, getting loads of people informed and aware of this, getting people writing petitions, signatures, going to the MPs. There's Somali communities everywhere, you know what I mean? Every person, we've got bigger people got platforms, bigger platforms to use this, you know what I'm saying? Now it's the online thing. It's to get this case, this investigation to be reopened, not to be, it's that simple, because they've closed it. They've said it already, what they need to say. They said this girl died Like she's actually killed themselves, like brother said, yeah. So the next step we need to do is just keep pushing online thing, petition, more like that.
Like, and this goes out to my Somali males. Like, you know, when I was at the demonstration, what to big up to the sisters, Otta. Big up, Wallahi, mashallah. Big up to the sisters. I rate that. And big up to the brothers that were there. We weren't that many. And it's another question I have for my brothers. This is why I gather my brothers, you know them ones, yeah? And something that me and you were talking about, Abdurrani, cohesioncy. Okay, it's missing every time. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing this, Somali community this, Somali community that. People, if you're not doing that for your community, and you're living off the Mali community, and all of this, yeah, please step aside. You get me, yeah? And like I'm saying, and this again, it's a question to my brothers. If you care about your community, it starts from us. Like I keep reminding you, brothers, yeah? You get me? You know, you get where I'm coming from. Stuff like this can't happen again, even to our little brothers as well. You know what? All right, this is Shukri Abdi. But there's 100 Ahmeds, there's 100 Abdis, there's 100 Abdullahis, you know, or Somalia dying on these streets as well. That's another thing we need to speak about as well, my people. Like, I'm
Yeah, I want to talk about just before the death, right? I want to talk about the circumstances surrounding her death, right? The bullying that she suffered, right? Now, like, this is, yeah, no, it's bad because obviously from my experience, I've been bullied myself, right? So I can kind of sympathize with it to a certain extent, right? But even if we go before that, right, there was a similar case which happened, I think, in December or something like that, right? A Syrian child, refugee, he got bullied as well. So why is there no protection for these kids? Why, like, these refugees, they're vulnerable, they go into a secondary school. We don't know the demographics of that school itself. We don't know if it's completely culturally diverse. So this is you know what I mean? This is something that's been occurring. Where is the protection for these children? They've already gone through traumas from being a refugee, selling refugee camps, the trials, the hardships, the struggles, and then they're going into school and they're facing another kind of trial as well. So why isn't there enough protection for these kids who are vulnerable to begin with compared to their counterparts? That's what I want to know. And that's something that I think is an issue that concerns, it's a concerning issue. Concerning issue.
Language barrier as well.
Go on, brother. No, spit. No, brother, spit, brother.
Basically, I think a lot of the time, parents, they can't speak English properly. So obviously, if there's no one helping out in the community, you know, a mother can go to the school and say, my son's being bullied. No one takes someone serious who can't speak English anyway. They're not going to take him serious. So they have to be able, you know what I mean? So someone has to step in, go to the school with the mother, either a sibling or a father or uncle or somebody in the community to help out. But the thing is, if we don't have that kind of connection with our community, they can get away with a lot.
And that's why I preach leadership amongst men. Leadership amongst men, you know?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Go on, bro. So,
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know at the moment if there's any kind of things in place in secondary school, if parents are raising complaints, etc. But I feel like the best thing to do is to have some kind of support worker within the schools to help these refugees. That would be a point of, you know, contact, you know, apart from the teachers and or someone else. In my days in secondary school, they didn't have this kind of point of contact, right? Or some kind of, I know they've been proposing this for a while or advocating for this, some kind of mental health kind of therapy, counseling in schools. I don't know if they have that now, but just something, somewhere where a safe space where these kids can liaise with them, whatever, and just share their problems. Okay, this is happening to me. Because if it's true, as has been reported in the case, that, you know, their complaints were raised about these bullying and nothing was done, then there needs to be active steps. How can we change this? What can we do going further to ensure something like this doesn't happen again? What practical measures? As a Somali community and in general, just also broadening it out there as a refugee community, do you know what I'm saying? As the diaspora, whatever, you know?
Because we tend to forget that. Like I said, yeah, like as being a first generation refugee, growing up in school, coming to a new country, you know, trying to standardize. Like you said yourself, like I didn't even know you got bullied like that, yeah? That's another thing. But it's like I feel like the community's lost it's lost that love. You know,
see, when we talk about the community, it's like Somali the Marata. especially here in the UK. I said it 100 times, I'm gonna repeat it. We're all trying to fit in into something that we're not. And you know what? Of kaste, every Somali, kuhukafana Somali kale.
No.
Yeah? Kum hukuleya Kwan, he's from Mogadishu, I'm from Butland. We're not the same, you know? I'm I need to you get me? Like all that stuff. Like you come back to the point.
So do you think this, yeah? So you think incidences like this could create Somali anymore? You know, because that's something I preach, you know. I don't care what, like, you know, I don't really give a shit what side of the imaginary, you see this? I don't care what side of the imaginary borderline you're on. You know, something called Somali anymore.
Yeah.
It's been lost. And, sorry, go on.
I know like, look, Somali Nimo, sometimes it's a dream, just a dream, innit? Like everybody's trying to dream about Somali Nimo. And sometimes it's a reality, something that we need. But at the end of the day, to get that Somali Nimo that we're talking about, first of all, culture is the root of it. Culture is the root of it. Without that culture, then how I harkisa will Somali. There was a Somali girl, like 2 Somali girls and 3 Jamaican girls, yeah? They had a fight. So the Somali girl, she was busy trying to fit in. Like she had to join in to beat her own Somali brethren. قودك الصومالي ده هذا ولا لا هاين تصديق معها ولا لا معها لكن الصومالي نمو.
And that's something to do with
So what? I'll tell you my story.
Like
When I came to this country,
that's the whole bullying sort of aspect of, you know.
Well,
See, sorry to cut you off, brother. Yeah, I think that's more to do with trying to assimilate and fitting in.
but that's the thing.
You know, I know, and you're talking about turning your own back against your own Somalia. I understand where you're coming from, yeah. But I feel like the community is Somalia Han. You know, even you know what happened to like Holland, yeah. In the space, and then we had Shukri as well, yeah. I say like, you know, the community is right now is emotional, innit?
Yeah.
I'm emotional right now.
Broken
I'm not gonna
up.
be like everyone's emotional, yeah.
We're all broken up.
So let's not ever. We always talk about problems. Let's talk about solutions right now. Solutions. I feel I'm more of a solutionist.
When it comes to this like bullying stuff, yeah. When I came to this country, I came here 2003, right? I couldn't speak a word of English, right? So there was this one Somali kid I used to go to school with in Birmingham. So there was a lot of like Asians, Pakistanis, and all of that. So one day the Somali boy was getting bullied, and I'm saying, "We're Somali." Wallah, I was young though. I was a kid though, still. Wallah, I was a child. Yeah, it was 2003, 2004. But I know we're Somalia. How can they bully a Somali kid in front of me? Yeah. وأقول لك قبته وانك عليه. Bro, وانك عليه. Look, listen to this story. وانك عليه. The next day, after weeks later, the same shit happened to me. But guess what? My nigga, I know you can sort just.
Oh wow.
Yeah?
That happens.
So they get so marka. They get so me metkalam kushega. The school car, I left out school. Then I was moved to another school. Same shit happened to me. They tried to bully me. Right? But in this school there's a lot of Jamaicans and that, and Nigerians and different Africans. There was barely Somalis. It's Halija, St. George's, yeah? It was in Birmingham as well. I used to get bullied, yeah? So one day I stood up. Ki gara'a wan gara'a. Min midab wadada u qabana. Wallahi, like, I used to wait them. All the guys that used to bully me, yeah? I know the route that they take. I used to wait them on the street. Min midab u qaban jire. Then the next day, they brought their big brothers. Now they're throwing stones at my yard. Gurigo hoide. A week later, I took a knife to school. Yeah? I took a knife to school, yeah? If this is how it's gonna deal with me, then that's it. I'm what the mana, I'm the mana. That's what I thought.
And that creates that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what's happened to the
So I got reported to school, yeah? And they said I got expelled from school for carrying a knife. And then after that, after a while, like, I could only go to Islamic schools, you get me? My friend, the school called Ma'adi Karim. So that's my story. So when it comes to these Somalis, yeah, wallahi, like some of them, they're just fucked up, man.
Yeah, the problem is.
Sorry for the strong
I think,
language.
sorry, like, you know what, like, you know when you said Abdurrahman right now, I got bullied, that kind of touched my heart, like it's exactly like you, Everlast, yeah.
Try to bully me, but you know.
I've never been bullied in my life in school and none of that, and that's what I think happened to Shukri, innit?
Yeah,
Like you're saying, like I can only talk about, you know, when you're a refugee, you're growing up and you're trying to fit in and things like people turn against you and stuff like that, yeah. I think that's more to do, and like you're saying, bullying needs to be highlighted from the refugee community as well. Like what you see with the Syrian youth that you were talking about. That went so viral so quick. and Shukri, justice for Shukri ain't been like that. That's the thing what I think to myself, like, warm. Like, you know, when it comes to, like, Sudan, what happened to them was, well, I hate that. I hate to see nations suffering, yeah? But at the same time, like, I saw so much Somalians waving Sudanese flags all over this. And I'm not saying, yeah, I respect that, you're jumping on the cause, you know them ones, but when it's your people, where's that? Where's that? That's what I always like to ask. Like, brother, I would like to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you speak, I just want to say one thing, yeah? Well, I just want to say my own thing. You see, when it comes to, I still want to come back to this Shukri case, yeah? I know Somalia now, Somaha.
Yeah.
Tajirin Walena, we've got rich men, businessmen, we've got halaha women, we've got, like, there's a lot of things going on. Mitkasto Somalia or English Kujoga, yeah? If they're all, like, put together at least £1 or £2 or £5, yeah, wallahi, we can make more than 1 million or 2-3 million, yeah?
Just like the Madeline Malak case, do you think we should start doing our own thing?
Yeah.
You know how, like, look, at the end of the day, innit? As Somali, like you're saying, exactly, I feel you, brother. Like, you got so much.
What we're going to do, yeah, we put money together, at least 1 million or 2, whatever it is, we could do this. All we have to do, you have to raise more awareness, more pressure to the Somali people. So we want justice, Somaha. And then with that money, we can hire a private
Somalians.
Yeah.
Professional.
How quickly can we achieve this practically?
It doesn't matter how. Look, patience. With patience.
No, wait. Yeah, but okay, all right, we're making a pill. Okay.
Live on camera. No, because you're asking how, can we, because Khalid keeps saying about solutions, and I think the Shukri thing has made a lot of people emotion. A lot of people are angry and upset, but you need to turn these negative energies into positives, isn't it? So for example, now if money is the issue, we have the numbers. What we can do is get everyone together, make it appeal online, and just share it, and just make sure everyone contributes. Like, have a universal fund, and then we can move from there. What do you think?
I think theoretically this is all well and good, right? But I feel like the first and foremost, if we want to achieve these objectives where we want to raise a certain level of money or threshold, reach a particular threshold so we can fund this case for Shukri, I think the most important thing is to build influence first. That's the thing. That's the most important thing. If we don't have an influence to begin with, where we can actively reach out to the Somali community or whoever it may be, then we're dealing with scant numbers here. Yeah, we can maybe raise at most maybe 200, 300 pounds, or maybe more than that, maybe 1,000. But if we want to make some literally like ground-breaking changes, right, we need to build influence first, right? If we're looking to set up a channel like we're doing now, we need to build influence first. We need to build a subscribers list. We need to do these things, right? Once we've achieved this, then we can start. Our message is able to penetrate. It's able to penetrate people. It's able to reach the minds of people. We're able to set up crowdfunding pages. We're able to make these changes that we wish to make within the communities, or you know what I'm saying, not just Shukri's case, but further down the line as well. So I mean, it's nice, it's all well and good saying this is what we want to do, this is what we want to do, but the most important thing is how we're going to achieve it. How we have to achieve it is we need to build influence, right? Because right now this is like the first week that we're dealing with. I mean, we have done Somali Corner for a number of weeks, but it has been on and off, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So if we're going to set up our channel, which we're hoping to do now, then of course, maybe we can, first things first is we build influence. And once we've done that, then we can achieve the goals or the targets that we wish to achieve. If anyone wants to speak. That's how
I agree with you, Abdul Ghani, 100% I agree with you. But I think just to add one thing to what you said is the urgency. I think let's not forget the urgency. The sister's passed away. There's a mother somewhere, sadly again, because this is the issue, I think, with the Somali community. It's always our sisters losing their lives. I'm not even advocating to say why not the men dying, but, just within the last few weeks, Shukri, died and also Hodan as well, Ilan Haristo, for both of them. But in urgency and making this issue like real urgent is we need to take action now. Like right now, we're calling out to the masses right now, getting people to contribute. And I think maybe if the funds is located in universal place or in a central place, then we can decide and see what's the best way, forward. for the funds. But I think waiting for subscribers. This is our long-term goal, but short-term. Families are looking for answers, and the community, everyone's emotional, but we need to turn these negatives into positives. There's a lot of negative energy. Just turn it around upside down, and hopefully just push. I think.
Fair enough. And that's what I was talking about exactly, brother Ahmed. And what brother Abdelghani was talking about as well, yeah, is sorry, I lost my chain of thought there. Sorry about that. What brother was talking about is I think like because this is raw and we're acting on emotions, and right now, alright, let this emotion turn it, like this negativity, into a positivity. You get where I'm coming from? Because that thing, it brought a lot of people together, and it started to think, yo, and I see it because this is like, we've had enough's enough. Like I've had enough of like the negative part of Somalia, bro. What Hodden was doing, showing the most beautiful parts of Somalia, showing that we are a people, Forget your imaginary borderlines, yeah? Love thy brother, love thy sister,
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I just want to continue with what Khalid just left it off. To be honest, we're going to turn this negative thing into a positive thing. If this gets off the ground and we're able to do something positive and able to achieve something for Shukri, it can be the platform for future things. It can be some some tragedy or some next accident or some next incident that happens. We've already got something built up. We've already got something to go back and fall back to, and we're going to be able to do that. That's what I'm saying. This might be a negative thing, but it's also brought us all together. I'm from North London. I've never come to Speaker's Corner, but this last few weeks something's been getting to me. Literally after father, I got two daughters as well. I got two daughters, yeah.
You got two daughters as well.
So really thought about it. There's other stuff that's happening in the media, within the education system, where they're trying to teach the children in primary school certain stuff. All this put together is more of a reason why we need to put together and have a strong. Yeah, I'm saying.
That's why That's why I want to wake up my brothers, innit? I feel like as Somali males, we have to start taking accountability as ourselves, them ones. You get me? We all know where we're coming from. My Mali brothers, let's be real in it, yeah? But there's a lot of good in us, And let's just not slack and let's not go sleep, them ones. Let's not go sleep again. Like I'm saying, justice for Shukri, no peace, no justice, them ones. No peace, no justice. But let's be example to us of this can happen to one of us. It can happen to any one of our family members. What's the next step? Where is the next step for us? What are we going to do as a community, as brothers right now? You get me? Because our sisters are doing a lot. You get me? We need to show them, we're there as well. We might not be as affluent as certain people. Don't even feel like, I don't have nothing to bring to the table. Just your voice alone, just your spirit alone, and your daqa can make you you know where I'm coming from. So do you want to add something to that, my brother?
I would say also, the main thing I think is we can't think of, as bad as it sounds, obviously Allah yarhamah, Shukri died now. We can't use all our efforts in that one case, and raising money is good. Raising money is very good, and trying to find get justice is very good. But we need to build an infrastructure. So we need education. The kids need education. We need to be able to set up a local, global thing. So, for example, just London alone, there should be a community of people who are stepping in.
Young Somalis.
Yes, and then there should be some in Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester, Bristol, Leicester, basically all the cities. And if you have that, it's easier to link up with people. You know what I mean? If everyone controls their area, you can call up other areas and you can build together. You're setting the pace. Education, for me, education is the most important thing. Sharing your education, sharing your ideas.
Yes.
Pushing values across. I think that's the main thing.
That's why me and the brothers here, we all started a group, Healing the Nation, because I think it's time we started. This star is broken, and I believe us young Somali brothers and sisters right now, it's up to us, as males, as females, as brothers, sisters, anything. Yeah, if we fail right now I feel like we failed as individuals. Because it's not about us. It's about, like you're saying, your kids, their kids. Somali Nimo. So that's how I promote. So that's what our organization, Healing Nation's about. everything's just that process. We're gonna do everything step by step. But you know, we just come together. It's just a bunch of brothers and sisters that came together that want to make a change. That's going out here, and then we're just trying to, you know. Sorry, man.
I just going back to your point here. I feel like that's a good idea actually. Just building some kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's something like people who can just outreach workers sort of thing, who can step into areas and support, you know, their communities effectively, right? And I feel like what sprang to my mind, at least anyway, was gang, the concept of gang, right? And I know gang is something that they deal, I don't know specifically their mission statement, but from what I know at least, it's something that they deal with knife crime and issues surrounding the black youth and the black community, right? And I'm saying, like, what we could do is we can develop a similar concept, right? A similar sort, to our communities, right? It doesn't have to be specifically related to knife crime. It could be, but it could also be touched on other issues as well, more broadly as well, right? And I don't know, just thinking further ahead, man. I don't know, maybe this could develop into some kind of, you know, this could be more than just a, you know, people. This could be more than just people from, you know, Somalia communities helping to help other Somalis. It could be sort of like, as well, thinking slightly outside the box here. It could be more like a business idea as well. It could develop into some kind of charity, non-profit organization where we set up like some kind of specific firms in specific areas where we have people working, you know, and people are allocated different kinds of roles, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking, I'm just putting it out there, you know.
You know, the idea of outreach is a great idea. I've done some homeless work for 7 years before that, and I used to work specifically with street homeless people. So when you just mentioned outreach now, actually gave me one of the best ideas to move this organization forward with. If we sort of have people capable of going to schools where there's at-risk children of Somali origins, or there's a child that just recently moved to England or London and is struggling like a language barrier or things like that. And this is where the outreach comes from. This is why we need people that are capable of helping those people, assisting them and giving them the sort of like guiding them to the right agencies where they can get the things that, you know what I'm saying? That's what outreach is very important, and I think that's the right move to go forward.
That's what I'm screaming at. That's what I'm saying. The community meant to lead in it, and we are going to be the future men. You get me? Content over everything from your
community. Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to iTunes.
What's his born again? Plans for this mighty man. I say Jesus in your face, brother. Say Jesus in your face.
Jesus is the black man. You can't say Jesus in mighty. I can't say Jesus. I can't say Jesus. No. If you brainwash me, then you brainwash my kids. Fuck off. How can he be a white man? Yeah, how can Jesus be a